Peace, infinite waters, diving deep once again. We are here in the wonderful art gallery. Someone wrote to me saying, Ralph, can you talk about this conscious stuff just today? I got a question as well. How does one start their spiritual journey? So that's what we're going to dive into. We're going to go through like 10 steps or so. And let's just first, breathing in that good ass prana, baby. Is that you? Just starting out your spiritual journey? No, Ralph, I'm a deep diver. I've been doing it. Well, then this is still for you. Because for me, the spiritual journey is an ongoing process. Look, you're still on it right now. And we ain't even had breakfast yet. Can I get a hello? So many of us, we live our lives happy, smiling. No, we don't. Many of us, we live our lives surviving, trying to get somewhere. We're sweating now. We're in a hurry. You spend your whole life studying because you want that dream job. You're trying to find a dream partner. And a lot of us, we don't feel content. We always are like, I want more. Even when you have everything, maybe you've got enough money in the bank, but there's still something missing. You're still not satisfied. And throughout the ages, many people have reflected on this and realized that this material world we live in is not what it seems at all. Okay, even quantum mechanics, quantum physics is telling us that atoms are 99.9% empty space. In other words, the material world is a complete illusion. Slow motion this side. When I talk of my spiritual journey, I'm talking about how I reconnect back to the truth of who I am. And I'm going to share with you how it went for me. Now, the first step to start your spiritual journey is seek truth. Seek truth. Seek truth. I realized growing up that there were so many distractions around me, and it comes from music, it comes from our immediate environment, and that takes us away from our true authenticity. It takes us away from the truth of who we really are, that we are super powerful, amazing beings. When I realized that just by seeking truth, so many of us, we believe everything society has told us about who we are. We don't question anything, we just accept. So for me, it was all about seeking truth, not this man-made version of the truth. No, but seeking the actual truth of everything. And we're going to come to how I did that a bit later. But that's where to start. Seek truth. Just write that on your forehead. Seek truth. The second step was, okay, Ralph, I'm like, I got to seek the truth, but how do I do that? So when I was really young, I would go into bookshops and I got a book and it was about really learning how to become a human being. Then I found another book, which was a pretty spiritual book. And when we talk of spirit, we're talking about the Latin word spiritus, which means breath. Woo! Breathing in that good ass prana, baby. Now, I came across a man by the name of Omran Mikhail Ivanov, who was my mentor later on. He was a Bulgarian master spiritual teacher. And I was reading his books as a young child and thinking, gosh, it was blowing my mind out just to know, like, really? Why didn't they teach me this in school? Okay. He was talking about how just the nature of human beings, the nature of the universe, the nature of reality. And he really opened my eyes. Okay. His mentor, Master Dionov, actually mentored Albert Einstein. Okay. So that's a great way to start the second step. Learn from spiritual masters, people who have dedicated their whole lives to becoming their greatest versions and helping humanity do the same. Ancient wisdom. I started to read a lot of books as well at that time when I was pretty young, 14, 13, 12 even, right? About ancient Egypt, okay? And I've always been fascinated with ancient Egypt. You can learn from your ancestors when we talk of starting on your spiritual journey. I realized, okay, there was so much wisdom from ancient Egypt, all Africa, to be honest. And I started to learn from my ancestors that, okay, I get it. Human beings at one point were living in a more organic world than we do now. We were living more in harmony with everything around us than we do now. We have to get back there. So that helped me along my spiritual journey, because I was saying, gosh, my ancestors were doing this. What the hell am I doing? Nobody knows. Don't worry about it, right? Now, that's just the second step. The third step that helped me was to realize everything is energy. Going back to quantum mechanics, matter is an illusion. So that means food is energy. 7-day vegan challenge. That is totally awesome. So I started to realize, like, my spiritual journey started to take off in a big way when I started to change my diet. Okay? You have alkaline foods, you got acid foods, right? Alkaline, acid, alkaline. Most people on the planet eat a highly acidic diet. Processed, junk food, garbage. Ugh. Alkaline foods, you're talking about more leafy greens. Human beings have to be eating a more alkaline diet to promote greater states of wellness within their body. I wasn't doing that though. I was drinking soda. I was eating a lot of dairy, a lot of meat. I wasn't feeling good. And therefore, that was preventing me from really starting my spiritual journey until someone shoved a whole load of strawberries in my mouth, like, oh, and then I started it, right? I started to realize, gosh, food is energy. And there are different qualities of energies. You got positive energy, negative energy. So you have to realize that every food holds a different vibrational frequency. A lot of fruits have a higher vibration than a lot of processed foods. So I became aware of that. The fourth step was, along my journey, learning to be alone. Now, this is where my spiritual journey was even growing to greater heights. When I said, okay, I am what Ralph, my own what Ralph guru. We are all our own guru. But at the same time, I needed to learn from my spiritual masters. I needed to learn from the ancient wisdom until it redirected me back to myself. I'm here to tell you, you hold all the power. You know all the answers. You are your greatest guru. Slow motion this side. Then why do we listen to anybody? For reminders, okay? I learned that the more alone time I had, the more I could reconnect back to my true authenticity. Look, a lot of us on the planet, we are constantly bombarded with things to do. From the moment you wake up, you might have to study, you might have to go to work, you might have to pay some bills. So a lot of us, we don't really have enough time to get to know who we are. Starting your spiritual journey is all about getting to know who you are, not what all of these institutions, these dogmas have told you who you are. You see, throughout time, many people didn't follow the crowd. Okay? You even had in Europe witches who were burnt on the stake because they weren't following the crowd. They were learning to be alone in their power, and they were walking into the wilderness, right? That's what I did. When you walk into the wilderness, you start to reconnect back to your true power. Spirituality is not something you practice or you have to practice. It is something you already are. Growing up, I was kind of religious. Then I realized religion is for people who are afraid of going to hell. Spirituality is for people who have already been there. Slow motion this side. Right? So I started to realize, okay, if you can learn to be alone, because certain times we're like, okay, I need to be with someone all the time, right? And this is great, but also it can take you out of your true element. You got to find yourself first and then share yourself with other people. That's how to start the spiritual journey. Number 5, what really helped me was to stop identifying with this name. Like, what is it with a name? Like, parents think they can just name us and stuff. Hannah? Peter? I didn't choose that name. Ralph? I didn't choose that name. They chose it for me, right? So, to really start your spiritual journey, find your own name. Name yourself. What's your alias, right? Infinite Waters. That's super powerful. Do you know that name, Infinite Waters, has helped me connect with millions of people? Because we're talking about water. We are over 70% water, right? So that's gonna really connect with everyone on a subconscious level. Really smart, right? When you start to learn how to give yourself your own name, it also reconnects you back to the truth of who you actually are. When you stop identifying with the roles that you're playing, like we're just like a kind of computer character, right? We're playing these roles out, but it's not really who we are. Okay? My name, where I work, the status you have, that's why a lot of people have status anxiety, because your life seems pretty dull compared to mine. Gosh, look. I stopped identifying with the name. Then I just fused into the energy of who I was. And I stopped looking at people as these roles, these titles. Doesn't mean anything. Sometimes I might say, oh, I'm a psychologist, I'm this. But underneath, I know it doesn't mean anything, because it doesn't matter how rich you are, how much you have. At the end of the day, death makes everybody equal. Slow motion this side. And this is what all the great sages of ancient Kemet knew. Sumer knew, right? Ancient Kemet knew. Sumer. Okay? Ancient Sumer. All of the sages there, they all knew that everything you accumulate in this life, you gotta leave it behind. Awfully sorry about that. Just can't take it with you, I'm afraid. So everything is on loan. So once you stop identifying with this man-made creation you have created of I am this name, I am this job, then you start to laugh at yourself. Okay, you need a sense of humor. Number 6, what helped me was to realize this, that many of us, we go through life and we never actually stop. No, we're just going, right? So what really helped me was to stop following people. That's how to start your spiritual journey. Following people, not that we shouldn't learn from other people. I mean, following people who don't bring you anything back. Are you in the wrong crowd? That's going to prevent you from really going on your spiritual journey and blossoming. But it's not all bad because you can still learn from that experience. But if you're continually there, that will prevent you from really becoming your greatest version. So I stopped following the wrong crowd. Number 7, what helped me was to really connect in a powerful way to people who are also highly awake. I used to go to the barbershop a lot, and that guy was super awake. He would give me books. Actually, I said, "Can I borrow some books?" He said, "No." I said, "What?" So connect with other highly awake people. You can do it through social media, Instagram, lots of people posting, inspiring, awakening stuff there. YouTube, same as well. There are so many resources, but also start to create from yourself, right? Because it doesn't matter how much you learn from other people. Spirituality ultimately is about your own expression. What? Say it again, Ralph. Spirituality ultimately is about your own expression. Once you find that, you start to grow even more. Now, what really helped me, number 8, was to realize this, that many of us, we are afraid of being judged, right? We are afraid of even feeling certain things. What I learned was that many people on the spiritual journey, and if you're starting out, now you're a bit on your way, right? So check this out. You're probably going to go through a dark night of the soul. Awfully sorry. This is what happens to people on the spiritual journey, which is every single person on the planet. Many people call it depression, anxiety. This is the dark night of the soul. This is what we call the shadow side coming up. And all of us have it. I have it. I saw my shadow side when I had the dark night of the soul, where my old life was dying. I was dying to the illusion of the matrix, and I was being reborn. It was a new beginning. So when you are starting your spiritual journey, if you feel like the world is coming to an end, don't panic. That just means you're having a dark night of the soul. You're learning to become aware of both energies, right? Both energies, light and dark. People say dark is bad, yet dark matter is everywhere, and we still don't know what it is. Slow motion this side. It's super powerful. Light is super powerful. Dark is super powerful. Many sages have tried to explain to humanity that you don't want to say dark is negative and you don't want to say light is positive. Both are equally as important. So the more you become aware of your shadow side, all of those undesirable aspects of yourself aren't bad. They are also a part of yourself, teaching you more about yourself. So it's not about saying, I just want to be peace, love, light, and happiness. Well, I'm afraid that's not the world we live in. We live in a world full of all kinds of frequencies. And certain times in seeking the truth, you might have to go through some murky stuff, some dark stuff. But guess what? Through the darkness, we become illuminated. In the darkness, you are able to see the stars. Slow motion this side. So can you see how we need both? That's what happens to you on your spiritual journey. You start to see that you need the light and you also need the dark. You need the left and you also need the right. Number 9, meditate more. A lot of people I talk to who are on their spiritual journey, which is a lot of people, they say the more I meditate, Ralph, I just feel like more myself. Because most of us, we don't even know who the hell we are. I didn't know for a long time. And once you meditate, the ego begins to dissolve. And that's why every day I'm meditating, get the right sound frequencies, the 432 going, the 432 hertz going, classical music, great. Bringing you back into yourself and moving you closer to your true authenticity. And number 10 is, if you're starting your spiritual journey, ask questions. Question your belief system more. Why do I think the way I do? We label things in society. This thought is good, this thought is bad. We develop beliefs because of this, and we never question these belief systems. I learned that in starting a spiritual journey, you got to question everything you believe, and that will help you move closer towards the truth. And you have to realize that for so long we've been allowing society to define us. Now it's time for you to start defining yourself. People think, hey, look, people on a spiritual journey, they're just wearing robes and sandals. And I'm like, you have no idea, because guess what? So many people on the planet are awakening. And for me, it's all about fusing both worlds together. The material world and the spiritual world. Then you have total completion. And then you just say, feels so good to be alive, baby. Can I get a hello? And there you have it. Have a beautiful day. We are here. Woo! Breathing in that good ass prana, baby. Infinite waters. Diving deep once again. Stay well. Stay healthy. Peace. You!